Evening class. Hello everyone. Welcome to my class on the Unacademy live platform. My name is Arifa Zahir and today's class we will be looking at IELTS section 3 reading. Today's class as you know, the normal Friday class is on the Friday sectional reading test. Every Friday we come, all the educators one by one come and speak to you about different aspects of IELTS reading and try to simplify it for you. So today I'm here to do exactly the same and help you understand another aspect of IELTS reading. And today I'm going to touch upon Friday IELTS reading, Friday reading sectional test, section 3. So let's begin. Sectional test on reading. Alright, and we are all here, I hope. So let's have a look and see who are there in the class. Hi Urithro, Ratna, Vishnu, Nena, Rakhi, and who else do I see in the class? So yes, Urithro, hi there. I can see you very clearly. So we've got quite a lot of students in the class already. Today I'm going to very calmly take you through the different aspects of the section 3. Excuse me. What your general approach towards it should be. And let's relax and have a look at it. Let's not get overexcited. I would say whenever you're doing the IELTS reading test, it's very important to look at the section 3, to look at any IELTS reading activity for that matter in a calm and composed manner. So let's focus and try and understand what we are going to do today. Before I move ahead, my referral code is BE Trainers. If you subscribe with this code on the Unacademy platform, you will be getting a 10% off. I repeat, you will be getting a 10% off. Now that's the first thing. Also, the other thing that is very important to share with you is there's a reason behind why we share the referral code with you. We want you to avail of an opportunity to register with Unacademy, to subscribe to Unacademy subscriptions using our referral code and then you get a discount. So that's the purpose behind it. Now the second thing is when you use a referral code BE Trainers, you have an access to so many other opportunities which are there on Unacademy. That is, you have an access to live classes, you have an access to watching recorded sessions of other educators. Also, apart from the educator whose referral code you've taken to register with, and also you can watch any of the live sessions at any point, clear your doubts, get your queries answered, and all of that. So the thing is, you could choose to use any referral code, but if you use this one, you get a further 10% off. Yes. Now, Telegram and Instagram handle is IELTS with Arifa. The purpose behind every activity that we do is for you to benefit. Now, the thing is, subscriptions already have certain discounts. Apart from the 1 month one, all the other subscriptions already have certain discounts. So you can see that there's so much of positivity that is associated with taking the subscription, because you have access to the top educators of the country, you've got access to material which is one of the best in the country, and most importantly, you can get your doubts cleared. Now, Unacademy provides 5 different types of subscriptions. Each one of these subscriptions already have discounts, like I mentioned before, and if you use my referral code, you would be getting a further 10% off. Now, before I move ahead and tell you more about the courses that are currently happening, and also tell you about what we will be doing today, I would like to share with you that there is a very special course that has started, the IELTS Power Pack Beginner to Advanced Batch course, in which all the 4 educators will be teaching 4 different skills, and we will be taking you through the journey of beginner to advanced. Alright, so beginner 1 month, intermediate another month, and advanced the month later. And apart from that, currently we are doing the mock test series. Now for both of these, this particular one is going to start on 22nd March and will end on 26th March. Sorry, 26th June. I'm so sorry, guys. Hi, Rakhi and Romy. I got a little distracted there. So 22nd to 26th June. Currently writing mock test today at 8:30 p.m. on the Unacademy live platform. So either of these courses can only be attended if you take a subscription. Alright, and yes, the last thing is my name, as I mentioned earlier, is Arifa Zahir, and I'm a plus educator on the Unacademy platform. My educational background includes Masters in English Literature, CELTA from Cambridge University. Overall experience of an IELTS administrator and instructor of more than a decade. And at BET, which is my institute, we provide training for IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, General and Communicative English. Alright, and also provide assistance in writing the statement of purpose. Now let's begin. Let's see if we've got any more new students in the class. Okay, the same students. Romy is there, Rakhi is there, Romy Mehla, Rakhi Mehla. Excuse me, let me just use the sanitizer. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, let's start. The section 3 of the IELTS reading has certain tips and strategies that I would want you to look into. But before we do that, we are going to do a short test. I'm going to ask you to look at a particular activity and do this activity, and then I will be doing the input and we'll be doing an analysis of this particular section. So I would request you to take a screenshot so that we can do the activity together. Alright, let's start. So first you're going to do this activity, you're going to take a screenshot, then I'm going to give you some time to do these questions. So that would be approximately, yes, 20 minutes. And once you are done with this activity, we are going to analyze this particular section of the IELTS examination, the skill, these questions, and then I'm going to do an input on trying to help you in trying to simplify the section 3 of the IELTS reading, what your approach should be. And then we'll be doing another test in order to check and see that whatever input has been given, are you being able to execute it properly in the next section. Alright, now let's begin. Okay, can I get a quick okay from everyone? So take a screenshot, another one. And the last one, please take a screenshot of the questions. Now I'm going to give you some time to do these questions, so that would be approximately 20 minutes. So it is 7:20 now, and the test is going to get over at exactly 7:40. Alright, so 20 minutes from now is when we will be looking at the questions and analyzing the answers. So all the best, guys. Let's do this reading sectional test, post which I'm going to discuss the answers and we are going to analyze the activity that you would have completed by then. Thank you. Good evening, Lily. Lily, we are doing a test right now, so all of you can do this test. And then we are going to analyze section 3, and I'm going to help you with your queries. There you go, Vihan. The next slide and the third slide. Lily, what you can do is, Lily, you can take a picture and then zoom it. That's how we do it, Lily. Alright? We take a screenshot and then we zoom it. Raki, it is IELTS with Arifa. Where's my pen gone? IELTS with Arifa. Bunny, no problem. I'm doing well, Bunny. Thanks for asking. Really kind of you. Bunny, after this is the input, and I will be explaining the approach. So stay with me. And then you will be doing another activity. So, yes. Okay? Okay, that's very important, Bunny. Yes, you should focus on your activities and do all your work diligently. Okay, guys, time out. So I'm done with the waiting, and it's time to discuss the answers with you. So let's begin. So I'm just sharing the answers. Right here, you've got the answers. Please check your answers. Lily, could be because of your connectivity, Lily. Because if you cannot see the answers also clearly, that means there must be some problem with the connection. Because the answers don't, like, they're quite big. The font is really big. It's not small. Okay. Now, class, can we quickly get a feedback on whatever you've done? Just let me know. What's your score? So, Arithra, you've got 9 out of, yeah, 39 out of 14. Yes. C1, C2, Bunny. Aryam. Aryaram. Okay. Vishnu, not bad. 9. Good job, Vishnu. Vihan, 10. Excellent. So Neha, yeah, I think you logged out and logged in with the other ID, Neha. Ratna, 7. Orithra, how much? Orithra has already said 9. Okay. Alright, do we have anyone else who's done this activity? Okay, let's discuss now. Alright, let's try and analyze why you may have made the errors that you made. Have you been able to identify why you made those errors? Yes, have you been able to actually look at the words which may have misled you? So let's have a look once. I'll just go back and I'll quickly explain one thing to all of you. The first question, question number 27. Yes, but even then I will be doing this so that it's clear for everyone. Just one question explanation and then I'll be moving to the input bit. Now the question number 1 is 27 for that matter. A use for helium which makes an activity safer. So how do we identify? Now I am going to tell you today's class is specifically going to look at skimming in great detail. So if I just skim, skimming means I look at the first 2 lines very categorically. In recent years, we've all been exposed to dire media concerning the impending demise of global coal and oil reserves. So you clearly know, but the depletion of another key non-renewable resource continues without receiving much press at all. So what I'm going to do is when I'm reading through it, okay, I'm going to look at the first sentence. So this is where I'm going to look at. I'm skimming, guys. I'm not scanning right now. That means I'm just looking at the sentences, trying to find out the key ideas of each para, but I will not be looking at the specifics. And then I come to the last line. That makes balloons float and voices squeak when inhaled could be gone from this planet within a generation. So you categorically know this is not an answer to a use for helium which makes an activity safer. We again come to the next question. Helium itself is not rare. There's actually a plentiful supply of it in the cosmos. Again, this one has no connection, but just to reconfirm my idea, just to reconfirm that, okay, this particular one does not have connection to it, I'll come to the last sentence. The helium is mostly trapped in the subterranean natural gas bunkers and commercially extracted through a method known as fractional distillation. Again, this does not tell me much about, the use of helium which makes an activity safer. Now let's have a look at this. The loss of helium on Earth would affect society greatly. Alright? Then I'm just going to come down and look at the last sentence. So I'm going to look at the beginning of the last sentence. And you can see that there's a lot of material which is there in the last part of the paragraph. So I'm just going to have a look at. But helium is also instrumental in deep sea diving, where it is blended with nitrogen to mitigate the dangers of inhaling ordinary air under high pressure. So very interesting. The first time we get to see a sentence which talks about the usage of helium making some activities safer. So there is an example the activity per se has not been mentioned as an activity. It has not been mentioned as, uh, some kind of action. What is mentioned is the specific action which has taken place. You don't have the repetition of the word activity. You don't have the repetition of the word action, but you have an explanation and you've got a specific example. And this is what helps you identify. I think I've already discussed with all of you this once before, that in IELTS reading, especially many times in the paragraph, in the question, it may be a general perception that may be given, and in the paragraph, there may be specifics or maybe paraphrases and synonyms. All right. I hope that really clears all your confusions in regard to it. And yes, let's move ahead. Any questions here? No. Now let's move ahead. All of you have already had a look at the answers. So now some strategies for reading part 3. Very clearly, part 3 reading. Now, all these activities work, all these strategies work really well when it comes to IELTS reading examination. But the one which is the most useful and, which is the most different, I would say also, is the IELTS matching the heading. That is the only activity where you wouldn't need to actually go through the passage first. You would go through the questions first. You would also not need to go through each and every paragraph in detail or do even a quick skimming of the whole text. You can do just para by para and then find your answer. But that's only for matching the heading and not for all the other activities. So let's have a look at the strategies which are useful for all the other activities. Now, repeatedly, I've said this before, I'm going to say this again. It's very, very important to remember that when it comes to matching the heading, we read the first para and the last para in absolute detail. All right, and the other paras we skim first and do a slight reading of it, and mostly we are able to get the answers. So what we do is we go para by para when it comes to matching the headings, and that is different for matching the headings as compared to all the other activities. Now, the strategy that I'm going to talk about works partially well for matching the headings, because in the case of matching the headings, you don't go through the whole para. You go through whole passage. You go through para by para. So that's the only thing different. Otherwise, this can be amalgamated with matching the headings and all the other activities. Thank you, Arithro. Always notice the title of the passage. It often gives you a general idea about the main idea of the text. Now, skim each passage for 3 to 5 minutes before looking at the questions. Now, I would say paras one by one. So that is very, very important, regardless of this being a matching the heading or it being any other activity. Now, the thing to remember is, again, I know it sounds repetitive, but I'm still going to say, in matching the heading, you do a para, you look at the question. You do a para, you look at the question. In other activities, you do the whole passage sometimes. And also it depends on your approach. You see, guys, the moment you receive the question paper, the first thing you should be doing is looking at the type of activities you have so that you can accordingly strategize. But when it comes to skimming, there are certain rules that need to be followed. Read the first sentence or two of each para. Often this is where the main idea of each para is located. Underline words that stand out to you as important, or highlight the words on screen if you're taking the computer delivered IELTS. This will help you get a general idea of what is being talked about. Pick out words that have something in common. Airports, passengers, lounge, flight. Now, With skimming, this is also called, I would say, a mixture of skimming and scanning. Very slight scanning, but majorly skimming. Ignore words that you don't know. Focusing on words that are unfamiliar to you will slow you down. At all times, try to not get caught up in the detail when you skim. This is the most dangerous part when it comes to some activities in the IELTS examination. You will keep getting confused and further confused if you read a para in absolute detail the moment you get the question paper. You're supposed to skim, guys, and that is the reason why these instructions work particularly well in section 3 of the IELTS reading, even more than section 1 and 2, because section 3 is quite heavy question number wise and also the context of the text wise. Strategies 2 and 3. As you skim, underline or highlight keywords in the text and write short notes as reminders in the text. As you skim, quickly underline or highlight each word that seems important in your question booklet. In other words, don't just skim with your eyes. Use your pencil or the highlight function if taking the computer IELTS to underline or highlight things that stand out as you skim the passage. Secondly, as you skim, quickly write very short notes, 2 to 5 words, next to each paragraph with your best guess about the main idea of the paragraph. You don't have to be comprehensive or even 100% correct about your guess in order for it to be useful. It specifically works when you have to come back to it for activities like summary completion. Also when you have to come back to it for activities like true false not given. It works very well. But you might be surprised how close you can come to the main idea even with that particular effect. Again, this technique works for both computer-based IELTS and paper-based IELTS and academic and general training. After you've thoroughly skimmed strategy 4, study the questions noting keywords and scan the text strategically for answers. Now, what does scanning this text strategically for answers mean? Come on, tell me. Anybody, any idea on that? What does the phrase strategically, scan the text strategically for answers mean? Give it a try, guys. Which is very obvious, Arithro. You've just paraphrased a little bit of it, not even the whole of it. No, I'll tell you what. It means, yes, keywords and questions, finding similar words and paraphrase. So we will applaud Vihan for that. Very good, Vishnu. Synonyms. And also when you skim, you're mostly aware of where the answers are, right? What the paragraphs are talking about. This works very well in activities like gap fills, matching the paras, not matching the headings, guys, matching the paras, where you are told that so and so person has said these many things, blah blah blah. So and so person has said these many things, blah blah blah. Which one of them is the one which he exactly has said it? So you will have to search for person A, person B, person C in the text, firstly, to understand what they've said. So you're going to scan for that name. Also in gap fills, it's very, very important to understand that certain words before and after it are going to really help you with trying to find out where exactly this particular answer is. Now, so there are a lot of activities which specifically require you to scan. I've already done a session on that before. But again, before the reading session starts at the end of this month, that is 22nd of June, I'm stuck with March, I'm stuck with Jan, 22nd of June, I will be doing skimming and scanning once again with you, so that I'm able to clarify it clearly to all of you, so that you're going to be able to do it properly, and you are going to be able to answer as many questions as possible in the most clear in a clear manner. Sorry. Now, after you've thoroughly skimmed the text, you are ready to turn to the question. Each question type is slightly different, so you'll have to vary your approach in some ways for each new set of questions. However, the strategy discussed in this section applies to them all. I would say not that much to matching the headings, but to some extent. I'm sure you guys must be thinking that ma'am is obsessed with matching the headings, but that is where you make, like, most of your errors. You get, confused about what you should be doing. So you need clarity there. That's the first thing. The second thing is a lot of questions like true, false, not given. Scanning is not going to help you. Neither is yes, no, not given. So it has to be intensive reading. Once you've identified the particular question word out there, and you've been able to identify from which para that particular sentence, which para that main idea talks about, then you come back, read the para in detail, or specifically the lines above and after that, before and after that particular idea, and then only you'll be able to do true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given in absolute detail. So some activities would require you to absolutely scan, other activities would require you to skim and scan, and there are some other activities which would require you to skim, scan, do intensive reading. So how are you going to be able to determine it? Are you just going to follow what the educator, that is me, tells to you? Are you just going to listen to, okay, ma'am has said for matching the heading, skimming and scanning, skimming mostly, and then for a few words here and there scanning? Are you going to do just that? No. You are going to do that, you're going to take my advice, but you're also going to practice properly and try and figure out what strategy each activity type is going to have, also based on your own practicing and planning. Yes, Vishnu, thank you so much also for summary completion. These key words provide the concepts for which you'll need to search in the passage. As you're probably aware, IELTS questions almost never use the same language as the actual reading passage, except for incorrect choices. Instead, the questions will be paraphrases of the information found in the article. This is one way the IELTS tests your vocabulary. Paraphrases will be synonyms or different forms of words found in the text. We call it the word family, we call it the associated vocab. A paraphrase could also be the entire sentence that conveys the same meaning as a sentence in the passage, while using different words and sentence structures. When you underline or highlight keywords in the questions, you are identifying the ideas you need to search for in the passage. So it's very, very important to keep these things in mind, guys. And the last strategy, follow it, the last bit of it. Use a strategic, use a strategic approach when you scan the reading passage for answers. It's best to begin with questions that are keywords you think you can easily find in the text. I always say, when you're doing matching the paragraphs, it's very good to do that first. When you are doing also fill in the blanks, it's very important that you do that activity first. But if you've got matching the headings, that's the first one that you should do, because that helps you to understand the complete question paper. What makes one question easier to scan in the text than other is something that you identify when you skim itself. So you've underlined, you've highlighted and taken notes right at the very beginning and written on the left hand side of the para. So you already know what each para is talking about. And what that does is, when you are doing the more difficult activities where you have to write the summary where you have to analyze what the question is trying to tell you. It works exceptionally well if you've done all that. So that, keep that in mind. And most welcome, Lily. I hope whoever sent it, thank you very much from my side also. Lily, I hope you were also listening to the input that I was just sharing, because that was very, very important. That is very, very important. Guys, I will be doing all these things in absolute detail in the course that I'll be doing at the end of the month, that is 22nd to 26th of June. And I will be doing each and every activity uh, very, very clearly for you to understand. I have a question here which you can take a screenshot of, and you can do this activity later at home. So this passage can be done by you at home. So please take a screenshot of this particular passage. And don't worry, I will be sending this in the group. So I've taken screenshots for each one of them, and I will be sending a very clear picture of it in the group so that you can do this activity by yourself. All right? That's it, guys. Thank you for being a part of the class. And today we will be doing the writing mock test. So if you are a subscriber, I hope to see you at 8:30 p.m. That is just half an hour from now in the class where we will be doing an IELTS writing examination, and you will be getting a feedback from me on that. On that note, thank you very much. And if you're not a subscriber and if you would like to take a subscription, use my referral code BE Trainers. Just a second. And get a 10% off. Okay? Thank you. Bye, guys. Oh, not the answers.